The title defense starts in just a couple of days. This is the Leafs Line Podcast. This is our Canada preview, the one we've been waiting for. We've been saving for last. If you made it this far, well, you're in for a good one here right now. I am Aaron Russo. If you don't know, well, I really recommend you go down the order of these videos and watch some other ones because you're looking at Latvia, you're looking at Czechia, Austria. There's just so many teams that you could be looking into. And we all know Canada, what they're going to do, what they're promising to do. And if you want to go look at some other groups that are looking to get into some Canadian territory and get some hardware like they did last year, I suggest you go a little bit back in the orbit. This is the Leafs Line Podcast. Check out our page while you're here. It's a pretty cool one. We got a lot of Leafs content, a lot of NHL content. I feel like a broken record for the amount of times I've been repeating this. I think we're on 10 now for the amount of times I've said this. But if you haven't gotten the message already, just stay here. Look around. Dynasty Sports Network. You can see it on your screen. Type it in very quick. A lot of content coming your way on there as well. You can find these videos there too. So again, easy access through that as well. But we're in Canada now. This is our hometown. This is our home episode. We're talking all things Canadian hockey. And we're going to start it off with the only real question mark that the team has to answer, and it lies a little bit in goal. Gaudreau, he's been struggling on the club a little bit. Thomas Milic is backing him up, as it is confirmed on the squad. And I want to get into the goaltending aspect of it, just because we kind of know it's already kind of set in stone with what we're going to get on the offensive side and the defensive side. Again, the defense, really big boys. 6 of their 7 defensemen are 6'2" or taller. So these guys are going to mash in the corners. So be ready for that. But the question mark, again, like I mentioned, goaltending. Jared, I want to go into you because you've been my goaltending expert all throughout the night, which I do thank you for. What are we expecting to see goaltending-wise between the pipes? What are we seeing from these two guys? Is there going to be some healthy competition? Are these guys going to push each other to the limit, or is it going to be sort of around the hot hand, whoever's hotter? That's what the coach is going with. What are we seeing?
I'm definitely curious to see what's going to end up happening in terms of net, because in the case of Gaudreau, he's right now coming into the tournament as our expected
Yep.
starting goaltender. But the thing is, he definitely has the worst numbers right now compared to Milik. So it definitely is going to be interesting whether or not they're going to end up going with who's playing better, or who is that bigger name who came into the tournament as the expected starter. Of course, Benjamin Gaudreau, he right now is playing with the Sarnia Sting of the OHL. Currently is housing a 3.63 goals against average, so well over 3 goals a game is not all that great, close to 4 goals against a game. As well, he has an 8.68 save percentage, so he has been struggling mightily in net. But to be honest, we've gone into tournaments before with goalies who weren't necessarily expected to be superstars, those being the case of some late NHL draft picks like your Devin Levi's and stuff like that, who end up stepping up with a phenomenal team in front of them and ending up bringing Canada to some hardware. So it definitely is possible he turns it around with such a good squad in front of him. But right now, that's still to be seen because his numbers are definitely concerning. I don't think it necessarily takes away from my predictions for Canada. I still think they're stacked, and by all accounts, they should have a very successful tournament, not to spoil anything. But it definitely is, as a Canadian fan, a little bit of a question mark. Will Gaudreau be able to kind of step up under pressure in the World Juniors? That being because there is another goalie that's kind of going to be nipping at his heels a little bit, that being Milik. I actually don't have his first name on. Oh,
Oh,
Thomas
it's
Milik. Never
Thomas Miller.
mind. 2023 NHL draft prospect. I had that written on a different part of my page. But regardless, he's playing with the Seattle Thunderbirds of the WHL, and currently he's thriving. He has a 919 save percentage and has some very good numbers. So the fact that he's playing so well, I'll definitely be curious whether or not they decide to go with who they're expecting to be their starter, or Milik, who's this prospect. He's trying to kind of make a case for himself to get drafted fairly high in the NHL draft and continue the great season he's been putting up in Seattle. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens in net.
Yep, a lot of options in goal, and that's the reason why you got 2 goaltenders, just in case one's not performing at the time that the tournament begins. You got one that can step up in there and get the job done. But one thing that's really interesting that I want to dive into about this Canadian team is that it features top 10 picks from last year and the ones that are projected to maybe slip their way into the top 10 this year as well. I'm talking Connor Bedard, Adam Fantilli, and if you want to even go back, Shane Wright as well. It's a lot of talent coming from Canada. That's out of the question. Loaded with talent, experience, and have done it before. That's a big part. They're the defending champs. The title defense begins in just a little bit. Adamo, can you take me through some of the big players that a lot of people should be looking out for? I know there's the sexy headline names, guys who are getting drafted, guys who are always in the news, but like who are some guys who maybe a lot of fans would know about that we can maybe
Yeah.
point out and guide them towards uh, players who can make a difference. This guy could be scoring the game-winning goal, and we won't even be talking about him before the show. I want to make sure that does not happen today. So, who do we
Yeah.
got?
Okay, so I guess we'll just quickly just hit on the big names, the
Absolutely.
big sexy names. You have Connor Bedard. He's going first overall. He is
He's the
whatever
second
team
coming of
gets him.
Christ right now.
He's changing the franchise that he's gonna hit. You have Shane Wright, you have Dylan Genther, you have Adam Fantilli, but a guy that he is getting talked about. Okay, he's getting talked about, but he's not nearly enough because this guy will probably play in the NHL this season. And I'm talking about again another short king, 5'8" from the Western Hockey League. I will say Detroit Red Wings, Dallas Stars prospect, Logan Stankoven. What a player he is. I believe he plays on the penalty kill as well. Don't quote me on that, but I feel like he's played on the penalty kill. He's phenomenal player, elite skater, elite passer. He could shoot. There's nothing Logan Stankoven can't do. He plays in the middle, plays on the wing. I think he'll probably end up playing on the wing because that's just kind of how traditional minds go. 5'8", yeah, he's a winger. Yeah, he's so good, and I think I put him on this list of players because I think he deserves it. That being the Shane Wrights, the Dylan Genthers, I think Logan Stankoven is that good.
All right. Anything for you, Jared, that stands out to you and is a player that is that good and you could throw into that category as well? Or it's just maybe sleeper guys that you might want to bring up as well? Who do you got on your list that players to look out for?
For me, I have two players to look out for. They're actually defensemen because I think the forwards, we all kind of know what forwards we're
Absolutely.
looking out for. As Adamo mentioned, it's a lot of top guys that are expected to be either drafted high in the NHL draft in 2023 or they've already been drafted very high in the NHL draft in previous years. But there's two defensemen I want to highlight, those being Brant Clark, who's actually having his first experience playing at the World Juniors, but as well, this year he was a 7th overall pick in the first round of the NHL draft, that being Kevin Korchinski. So these are two defensemen that, when there isn't maybe as much sexy names in terms of the defensive core of the Canadian team, these are two players that you definitely have to note. These are former first round picks that kind of fill two different roles. In the case of Korchinski, he's a 6'1" guy, a puck moving guy, but as well, he's a big boy that could shut things down defensively. In the case of Brant Clark, however, he is a very much an offensive minded defenseman while also being very skilled defensively. And in general, the fact that they have so much defensive might that could maybe weather the storm in terms of the other defensemen being not as much big, sexy names. These are two guys you definitely need to note in terms of who's going to be protecting their goaltender and shutting things down in the rare case that one of their unbelievable forwards makes a defensive mistake and kind of turns the puck over and has an opponent going down the other way.
And I mean, like I mentioned before, 6 of their 7 defensemen at 6'2" or taller. Man, a lot of size. You're running into a brick wall if you meet these guys. So Canada's going to get it done on the defensive front, the forward front. One thing I want to ask, and I think this could be very straightforward. This could not. I do want to hear your opinions on it. Is Connor Bedard the best player in the tournament, hands down?
Yeah, I think that's pretty solidified in my opinion. Even though obviously there's guys that have had their cup of tea playing NHL games, I don't think that matters. When Connor Bedard is doing the things he's doing right now with the Regina Pats and just as a top NHL prospect that is easily, in my opinion, going to go first overall, I don't think there's a comparison. I don't think there's any other player in this entire tournament. Yes, there was a lot of praise and hype around Shane Wright, but I don't think anyone in this entire tournament has in their career been talked about and praised and given the potential and the stature as a franchise-changing guy, quite like Connor Bedard. And I don't think there's a question. I think he is going to prove throughout this tournament why he should be drafted first overall and solidify the fact that he is the best NHL prospect out there and easily is the best prospect in this entire tournament.
Molly, you look like you're a little bit at a loss for words here.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't
what are we
know.
thinking? Because we've been talking about so many players. I mean,
Yeah, to
so many
say
players.
that's a lot of players. There's a lot of damn players, but to say there's no debate, I don't know, man. Like Shane Wright, like we say no one's had that like, oh, he's going to be a franchise player. Shane Wright was an exceptional player coming out of Don Mills. He
Hey,
was pegged as that. He's him. Like, I don't know, like It's hard to say. It's really hard to compare the two. I think I will agree that Connor Bedard is the best player in this tournament, but I don't know, man. Shane Wright, he's playing the NHL. He has 4 goals in 5 games with Coachella Valley in the AHL. Like, he's a player.
Yep.
So
And I think we'll see in a couple of days now, couple days, couple weeks, depending on how this tournament plays out. You could probably settle that debate pretty darn quick between Shane Wright and Connor Bedard. And when they get both into the NHL, I think that's when the real debate's also going to shine. I wanted to do one last thing. This is for the last time today. We've been doing so many of these. The 10th prediction of our World Juniors preview, guys. Canada. This is the big one. This is gonna do the. This is gonna outline your absolute predictions. You're gonna get a lot of roast in the comments, and it's really bad. So, put your best prediction forward. Jared, I'll go with you. Where is Canada finishing at the 2022-2023 World Junior Championship, and does it involve a medal?
Well, last year I didn't want to be a homer, and I ended up having, they're going to win a bronze medal, whatever, maybe the more tame, non-biased pick. But this year, I'm wearing a Canada jersey for a reason. I think they are that good. I don't see anyone in this tournament stopping them. And I do think they're walking away with that gold medal, taking down the United States in the gold medal game and crowning themselves as back-to-back champions.
All right, Adel Romoli, come on, man.
Like, I almost feel bad. Like, it's like Canada's gonna win. I have them winning. Like, I've never seen a team. Like, usually you get like, 1, maybe 2 NHL loans. Canada has like 5. Like, Genther is like a second line player in the NHL. Shane Wright is there. Brett Clark was playing in the NHL.
Yeah.
I believe there was another one. I think Stankoven played preseason games. Brennan Othman, look out for him. He's pretty good as well. I know he actually just got traded recently from Flint. But yeah, they're really good.
So you got him at number 1, I'm assuming?
I have them at number 1.
Number 1, all right. Well, this is a Canadian show, so
Homerism.
The homerism is well alive here on the Leafs Line podcast, and that does it for us, guys. Again, from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you guys for tuning in. It was a wild day, a wild night, long hours. I think we've been on for 2.5 hours, but all worth it, man. All worth it. All love, as Adel Romoli and Jared pointed out here. All love. So hats off to you guys for tuning in. You're on the Leafs Line podcast. If you could do us a big favor, hit the subscribe button, like the videos. It's free. Dynasty Sports Network, guess what? It's also free. We like to make yourself easy here. We all designed it. It's always awesome. So much content. Guys, it's very easy. Just type it in, dynastysportsnetwork.ca.
Well, why not?
Why not? You're there. You can scroll around too. There's a couple things. Jared's World's also on there. Take a peek and see his wild adventure of a Leafs fan. There's so much to give. There's so much to look into. And we appreciate you guys' support. That does it for us. For the last time here today, I'm Mary Russo.
It's water.
Jared Rodenberg and Adel Romoli. We all need water, man. We all need some water. But stay hydrated. Take care. And we'll see you around the Leafs Line podcast. Thank you guys so much.